Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
I have X number of examples where a student scoring 19 CAT ended up getting calls from NMIMS or SIBM Pune or even ZAD for that matter. So we have a lot of time as far as IFT exam is concerned, SNAP is concerned, NMAT is concerned. So the first thing that a student needs to do is take a break for a day or two if that is the need, and then re-channelize your efforts towards other exams. Again, nobody is going to ask you 10 years down the line कि CAT में कितना percentile आया था और किस कॉलेज से MBA किया, right? You will be more focused on your job, on your career, on the kind of profiles that you are getting after 10 years.
There are people obviously who want to go to the IIMs, but if you look at all the other institutes, not just the IIMs, even in the IIMs alone there are 5,000 odd seats. But if you look at an FMS, MDI, SP Jain, then an IMT, IMI, TAPME, and a host of other institutes, the very relevant number that one should look at is the 90 percentile mark. 90%. I'm not saying 99 is not good, but 90 percentile mark is a very, very nice indicator of whether the paper is really difficult or easy. My prediction today says that it will be not more than 75. In fact, it will be less than 75 marks for the 90 percentile. In fact, it could be as low as 70 out of 228. Now, when somebody talks about 200 and, just understand this, 70 is 23 net correct questions. We are not discussing single section. We're talking about all three put together. And in a section, in a paper wherein the quantitative section was not difficult at all. I think that is what we are discussing. What we realized is that the general expert analysis, if I may want to use the word, has been as correct as the data which says that slot 1 was easier, slot 2 was the next easiest, and slot 3 was the toughest of the 3 slots.
I don't really associate gender or academic background to being good or bad at math. So that is one thing that I would not correlate.
Sure.
The other thing is, again, because arithmetic and algebra have taken precedence, one thing that I saw this year was the questions were sort of mechanical in nature, especially in the first order, and even I took it as well. It's basically either you knew it or you would have been able to solve it by using a longer method. This basically was sort of a test that I felt was designed for someone who had prepared diligently. Someone who would not have been prepared, if this person would have gone and sat for the test, this person would have been able to attempt 26 questions, but in 90 minutes.
I think CAT 16, 17, 18, all the 3 years. So though I'm not a global faculty, I've been able to finish my paper. All the 34 questions in the old format,
right.
16, 17, 18, I could finish comfortably in about 55 minutes, 56 minutes with nice 4 to 5 minutes to go in the paper. Last year was the first time in a long time that I was not able to complete, and that one last question that I marked was with I think 2 or 3 seconds to go. So this year I had those memories of last year's paper because it was complete race against time. I think the first RC that I started with was on elephant seals.
Elephant seals, yes.
Elephant seals, if you read the RC, a lot of people who have taken in slot 2 and 3, whenever the paper is out, try to read that set. You will get confused whether it is RC or it is logic. You will try to figure out who is migrating from where, from which place to which place. It was a challenging thing. So I read that thing and I was like, it's a little difficult. It makes sense to let's move to some other RC. And I moved to something else. So RCs were definitely, and it's very difficult to complete the paper.
Right.
If you look at earlier version, 34 questions in 60 minutes. But now you have 26 questions. So the questions have gone down only by 8. But the time has reduced by 20 minutes.
Right? By 33%.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So
right.
A lot of people were not able to finish. I think a lot of good students that I spoke to said that at least one RC they were not able to solve.
I would say there was one really dense passage that was based on images and the role that images play in the construct of a society.
Right.
I hope the passage was about this. because it was so dense that it's even difficult to know what the passage was actually saying. The paper was slightly on the difficult end as far as interpretation of the question was concerned. The RCs were straightforward while reading, right? So compared to the feedback for slot 1, I think slot 2 had readable passages.
Verbal ability section was meant to be attempted like a quant section, not exactly like your normal VRC section. You had to realize it very quickly that there is not going to be enough time to go through each and every question and attempt everything. So you had to have a strategy in place wherein you knew exactly which passages to go for, which passages to leave.
I have X number of examples where a student scoring 19 CAT ended up getting calls from NMIMS or SIBM Pune or even ZAD for that matter. So we have a lot of time as far as IFT exam is concerned, SNAP is concerned, NMAT is concerned. So the first thing that a student needs to do is take a break for a day or two if that is the need, and then re-channelize your efforts towards other exams. Again, nobody is going to ask you 10 years down the line कि CAT में कितना percentile आया था और किस college से MBA किया, right? You will be more focused on your job, on your career, on the kind of profiles that you are getting after 10 years. So you should remain objective, focus on going to a top 25, top 30 college, and you have ZAT exam, you have SNAP, you have NMAT, you have IFT. So 4 main exams are still there, not to mention tests, MyCAT, and other exams. So a student should do 2 things in my opinion. First of all, evaluate your preparation and see if NMAT or SNAP or ZAT is crackable in a month or 2. And then mostly by Friday or Saturday, we should get CAT scores if CAT continues the trend of giving the response sheet. Based on the score, you will have to fill the right forms. So should we fill IIT, Kharagpur or other colleges? That call needs to be taken accordingly. So these are the 2 things that the student should focus. Do not bother about things that are not in your control. Your CAT percentile is no longer in your control now. It would be prudent to focus on other exams.
ZAT, if you look at it, you have to understand the pulse of the test. If you look at the overall test, whoever would have prepared for CAT will be able to understand and answer the ZAT at this point in time. Now, what needs to happen is you have to understand the soul of the test, even IFT for that matter. Now, IFT and ZAT, if you look at it, the soul has not changed for a decade now, a good 10-12 years now. If you look at the ZAT, there have been changes in terms of pattern, there have been changes in terms of the number of questions, the level of difficulty, yes. But if you look at the soul of the test, it has remained more or less consistent. IFT more or less has remained consistent. So if someone is going to prepare for the ZAT or the IFT, I would strongly suggest that you dig up all the past 10 years papers that you can find out, try to identify the soul, try to understand whether you are, how far you are from the cutoffs. IFT specifically, I will ask people to just understand whether they are made for IFT or not, because what happens is IFT is there for just one institute at the end of the day. So you have to understand if you want to put in that much of effort into a test that has only one institute associated with.
Right.
I think I generally ask people to take IFT 2015, 2016, 2019, because these have been the IFTs that have been sort of those that represent IFT as a whole, if you look at it.
Right.
So take these tests, see how far behind you are the cutoffs, or if you are able to clear the cutoffs. If you are extremely close, you are missing the cutoff by let's say 20%. So fill the form and take the test. Same goes for ZAT as well, right? When it comes to the SNAP, I think SNAP is going to be sort of the test that a lot of people will bang their hopes on this year.
Right.
Purely because it's going to be a 60-minute shootout. It again becomes a game of luck. If SNAP is to be consistent with the kind of cutoffs that we have associated it with, 50 to 55% generally is good enough to get a 98 percentile and a call from SIBM or SCMHR.
Right.
So this year, considering it's a 60 question, 60 marks thing, typically I'm looking at 30-35 marks, which is definitely possible. I would strongly suggest that you prepare for ZAT, SNAP, IFT if yes, MyCAT if yes, TISNET if yes, CMAT whenever that happens, CET whenever that happens. So one thing is, do not count your chickens before they hatch. So do not say that okay, I'm going to score 120 in CAT, so let me forget about the other tests. I will start preparing for GD VAT. Nahin, VAT PIK you will get sufficient amount of time once you get your call as well, so don't worry about that right now. At the same point in time, don't get into the business of rejecting things that you don't have.
Right.
Because again, I have not got MDI till now. I will be like, "Meko MDI nahi chahiye." Nobody has given you MDI. You don't have it in your life. So do not reject things that you don't have.
I think there is so much of pressure. There is this script we are all operating with, that we need to go to this college, do this course, and I think that is something that creates the pressure. And there are these definitions of success and failure that we have, and that also creates the pressure. So this is something that is commonly seen in students who are preparing for these exams. So I think while we are counseling, there is an approach that we follow. It's called the narrative approach, which says that it is not the situation that actually makes you feel distressed. It is your interpretation of the situation that actually makes you feel distressed. So after an exam, so if I am of the feeling that I have not done well, or maybe I have not achieved the percentile that is required to maybe get into the college of my choice, the institution of my choice.
Right.
I am a failure. And if I am continuously battling with the fact that I am a failure, it is a very pressurizing feeling, right? So you are either a success or a failure. That is the feeling that I have, right? So when just take a moment to reflect on this thought. When I'm saying that I am a failure, what do I mean? Did I not answer a single question in the paper? Was there not a single section that might have gone well while I was answering the paper? So ऐसा नहीं है. I might have answered some questions well. I might have answered some sections well. I might have even scored very good percentile. Maybe when I'm just adding up my scores, it is coming up to a good percentile. It's just not something enough to maybe qualify into the school of my choice, right? So I think these are definitions that need to be challenged. These interpretations need to be challenged, and that is what we work with students with when they come for counseling. So I completely understand that it is a very competitive environment out there, and the kind of percentiles that you are talking about, it's almost above 95 percentile. I'm not sure how many students must be making it if the kind of percentile is that high. So I completely understand the pressure. It's all built, it's all there in our systems, and it is natural to also feel that pressure. I think what is very important is that know your strengths. I think that is something that I would say. See, when you're preparing for it also, that is maybe playing on playing on your mind that I need to prepare for these exams, I need to get this kind of percentile, right? And when you have that kind of thing in mind, there is always this thought that okay, mujhe to kuch nahi aata hai, there is nothing that I know, and I don't know how I'm going to appear for these exams. So maybe give a thought to yourself, is it true that you do not know anything, right? If you were to answer the paper today, how many questions will you answer? Will you not be able to answer a single question? ऐसा तो नहीं है. You will be able to answer some questions, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? You're 3, right? Even if you're 2 or 3, you are somewhere. You're not at 0. Right. So then try and take smaller steps. Try and see how you can move to 10. Try and see how you can take more steps. And know your strengths. I think that is one of the ways of going about it. And try to improve on your own abilities.
The world will go on, the world will move on. Right. You will have to come to terms with it. If you have done very, very well, start your PDP preparation quickly enough. Point 1. Right. More than anything else. Now, apart from that, please realize that there is a SNAP, there is a NMAT, there is a TISNET, there is a ZAT, there is an IIFT Jan 24. There is enough time for doing it. Even if you have done very, very well. Even if you have done average, you know that there are major other exams coming up your way, and with a significant gap between one exam and another exam. And this is the best time to get into an MBA school right now. 2021 to 23 is the best time to get into an MBA. So err on the caution side by applying to a couple more extra institutes at the lower level also, a 90 percentile, 85 percentile. Then for people who you say that are really destroyed, I say yaar, nothing in this world is destroyed. ठीक है, एक क्या तो दूसरा है, आज नहीं तो कल आ जाएगा. More importantly, there are two things. One, a person who has not really prepared well would have not fared very well. Two, even if you have prepared very, very well, if you had got cat to play on your head and make it bigger than life, that is when you would have really, really suffered. I am saying it's a good experience that it has got destroyed for those of you who get destroyed. Pick all the shattered pieces that you have about yourself and your dil, tomorrow morning is another day, as Scarlett
Right.
O'Hara says in Gone with the Wind. Tomorrow is another day. Let's start beginning again. There is enough time for everything else.